Yeah, pussy it up right now. If anyone's in our chat, fucking pussy it
We're
up.
demonetizing this shit right off the bat.
Pussy, pussy, pussy. You know, if you say the C word, you get instantly demonetized? Cunt.
Which one?
The one that... The cunt.
The cunt one?
www.bigboobies.cunt. I searched it. Trust me, guys, I searched it. There's nothing there. So, I gotta get the chat up.
Yeah, that's what I was doing too.
Will you? Oh, you're looking. That cunt. Yeah, let me get the chat out, and then we'll begin our slide seppi. Our Giuseppe slide seppi.
It didn't put me in the website. It just did a Google search.
Yeah. Well, that means the website doesn't exist. Stupid.
But usually when it does that,
You absolute cretin.
usually that will put it to like a, you know, one of those pages.
Yeah. Well, that means the website doesn't exist. Okay, we're at a great volume. I'm starting to get really good at having my volume be okay before the stream even starts. Luna Rises isn't late. Let's go.
I guess you can say Reddit that
I
pretty
guess
much did
that
a
was a
thing.
Reddit win, I gotta say.
Yeah, we did a thing, so...
We did a thing, guys.
Oh, did your speaker unbreak, by the way?
I guess. I'm just... This cost me like $15, so it's not really a big loss. View.
Big L, minus ratio.
Slideshow. Oh god, we got lag in this edition. Oh, that's fine. The Slide Seppi, Part 3, Fertilizing the Field edition. You gotta be our
penis music?
resident... Yeah, it is penis music. You gotta be our resident check the chat reader, because I'm the lore master.
Give brightness.
No,
brightness
that's how good it'll be. That's how it is. The timeline thus far. The timeline recently has just been linear as we go through the games. There is no, like, it's in the past shenanigans. It's easily be able to tell because Johnny Smith was a little teenager in that one, and now he's, like, an adult with abs and shit.
Let's give each game a quick ranking out of 10.
Just
real
a quick one?
Yeah.
Okay, Sims Busting Out
it's like a
GBA.
3 or 4.
3-ish.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel right judging that one too much because, like, we didn't even fucking barely played it. So
yeah,
it's
for
like
a reason.
0 out of 10, I guess. Herb
Yours
Sims in
like
the
a
City is like
7?
a 6.5, 7. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Herbs. If we knew some things from the start, I would bump it up to a 7.
Wait, Herbs was DS? I thought Herbs was GBA.
They're the same version,
Okay.
GBA and DS. I just chose to play GBA. I don't know why. I think it's because like 2 screens is worse to stream than one screen.
Herbs GBA is
Herbs
like
GBA
4 or 5. Like
probably just
better.
a little better than this. So 4, yeah.
Yeah.
This is 3, then this is 4. The
Kumquat
Sims on Kumquat, I was about to say. Sims on
like
Kumquat.
6?
Nah, 5.
5, yeah.
5. Like a straight mid game. Like if you wanted to play Sims in that era and all you had was a PlayStation 2, then that's fine.
Yeah.
That's good for that.
Or
But
equivalent console.
Sims Busting Out, I would say goes up to like a 6. Lower than Herbs,
Yeah.
but higher than this.
Yeah. Fair.
Sims 2 GBA, I would actually
Like
put
an
it like an 8.
Yeah.
If there wasn't the cache gates and stuff, that would go up to a 9.
Yeah, fair.
Sims 2 DS is the same way. I think I rate it 8. If the stupid real-time system didn't exist, I would bump it up.
Okay,
But that's
put the-
easier to get over than the cache.
I like how you put the PlayStation 2 for the DS.
Huh?
Oh, wait, no, never mind.
No, yeah. Because I put both of them into one thing. See?
I see.
Because they're the same game. They're basically like one big game. That's how I view them. And then Sims 2 console, I would put it like same level as Bustin' Out probably.
Yeah.
Like around the same amount.
It's like the same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly better.
It's got a little bit of edge to it because the 2-player is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then Sims 2 PSP, I would put it in 8 too, I think.
Yeah.
So,
we didn't get gated in that, did we? And we didn't
the
have to
only thing
grind.
about Sims 2 PSP I didn't like is that it didn't really have a lot of like the pizzazz of like GBA and DS.
For sure, GBA and DS
like
were more...
the character designs in this are like all wacky and weird and,
Yeah.
and kind of like I like the style of it a lot more. These are
Yeah.
just like regular sim looking stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of the character models started to blend together, and there's no
Featuring
fucking
werewolves.
music.
Yeah.
If it had like a lot more style, because the story is like 10 out of 10, and
Yeah.
it's like actually good.
But it just didn't feel as vibrant as the others.
Yeah. Okay.
As the other Strange Town.
Now we get to the pets ones, and it's just like 2, 1.5, A.
We're rating it from 0 to 1 instead of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Because there's no chance of it getting over a 1.
Yeah. I hate pets, that's why.
I hate your patch. I hate my patch.
Okay, let's go brief Larkin's family overview here. This hasn't changed much from the last time. Oh, Luna said Sims 2 was hellbent on finishing the Sims vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had to yeah, exactly. Okay.
It was also it being a PSP game didn't mean that
Yeah.
it had to,
Yeah.
because the DS one had like, Emperor Zizzle and the Mole King. Granted,
Yeah.
we got the Werepug, which was brilliant.
Yeah, I
but
did love that.
That was like it.
It's a lot more flavor than a normal Sims game would have, I think.
Yeah. Which is easy enough to do.
Yeah. So this is our family tree. The only real additions from last time is the new looks for Popia and Burple, plus we now know that this version of Mom Larkins was a clay sim.
Mm-hmm.
So just brief, who's your favorite Larkin, by the way? Out of all the Larkins,
out
who's
of
your
the
favorite?
5 here, like the 5.
And Cherimoya, I guess.
Oh yeah, sure.
Cherimoya is probably my favorite,
So if
honestly.
we put Cherimoya's picture on top of Burple's picture.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be Dorienye, including Dorienye Plus.
Yeah, Dorian is pretty good, and he's like a silent protagonist too. That's
true.
really good for a silent protagonist.
Yeah. Although we did fully voice him more. Or
Abang
less.
is also cool, even though he's also a silent protagonist.
Yeah.
Popia and Shirimoya are the only ones that were like really, really vocal
Yeah.
that I can remember. Because Popia had her whole thing. Well, I guess Burple, if you count him as a protagonist, he had his own character arc and stuff.
I think, I don't know if I would put Litchi above Abang or Abang above Litchi. I think I would.
I think it's just been so much. I feel like I have recency bias and game better bias for Abang.
Right. That's fair.
So I feel like I can't judge Litchi that much, although for over a while she's become a little bit boring to me. Because I think she and Dorienye Plus have like very similar personalities.
Mm.
So in like a contest between the two, I always pick Dorienye first.
Yeah.
Because I hate women. But yeah, like everyone else kind of has like a distinct personality. These two are the only ones that are like kind of similar.
Yeah.
I guess Kumquat and Cherimoya are a little bit similar. I would imagine them to be kind of similar. But Kumquat didn't get to do anything, so his personality was he was really sad and died, which is memorable. I do still like Kumquat.
I still imagine his personality kind of being like a recluse, but he acts like he's smarter than you.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas Cherimoya is smarter than you, but
Yeah.
she waves it too much in your face.
Yeah. Well, she is Cash Money.
She is
so.
Cash Money. She's basically better than you in every way, except for her demeanor,
Yeah.
which makes her come off as a worse person.
Yeah, exactly.
Than you, the viewer.
You, the viewer. You listening right now.
Literally was Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. Literally was like the blueprint.
And Abang was Twilight Princess.
No, Dorienye Plus
Twilight Princess, yeah.
was Majora's Mask, and then
Okay.
Abang was Twilight Princess.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the Plum Bob connection. You guys know that shit already. Here's the current state of the heroes and villains of this saga. We got the Streeties, which is comprised of these people, plus a few more, but I just wanted to put all the major ones on here
Right.
that like everyone knows.
These are the admins of the Streeties
Yeah, pretty much.
and the mods.
Dusty Hog is either Dusty or Tidy, probably like heads of it right now, since Darius has been captured.
It's probably Dusty because Tidy's more of like a mod. He just blocks the door.
Yeah, that's all. This is his entire
Uh-uh.
job. He's
Yeah.
like really good at security because he can just people.
And he doesn't jump, but he can
He
hurl
can,
himself
yeah,
with his
hurl
hands.
himself with his fist. And then we got the Shadow Government. Again, only the major players I put here. The Door Ringer, Daddy Big Bucks, the Goss, Cash Money. This is all the people that have been killed by this war thus far. They're like winning, by the way. The Shadow Government has been winning this whole time.
That's true, yeah.
Oh yeah, we got
We got
Will
the-
I Am
the
on the
herbs.
fucking
Yeah.
beats. Let's go.
That's why I was rapping about it. Like, I said it.
Let's roll. Now that we have that foundation, let's start from a bit before the start of the PSP streams and focus on a few key characters of interest that were there before our Sims arrival. We start off with Bella Goth. Now she's even more crazy.
Oh, yeah.
She appears early in the game in a frenzied state, selling her extravagant house for next to nothing and seemingly wanting to free.
No, she doesn't want to freeze.
No, she wants to flee straight
down.
down. Her
She
flight,
wants to bust out.
her flight or flight response kicked in. She
Yeah.
wants to get the fuck out of there, or she wants to bust out of there.
Yeah. Her fuck or bust response.
Yeah. Mortimer, Alexander, and Cassandra Goth are not seen or even mentioned by her, which I thought was weird. Here's the rest of them here. I also found it pretty cool how her design in Sims 2 GBA is like 1-to-1 here. If you look at her old designs, they're kind of like distinct, but when she appeared in Sims 2 GBA, it's like the exact same. She even has the same necklace, which I think is a plumb bob necklace.
It could be, yeah.
Kind of looks like it. According to her secret, she is vaguely fleeing from an alien encounter.
As in she's fleeing in a vague way, or she's
they
fleeing...
were like,
the secret is vague.
she's so crazy because she was abducted by aliens. It's like, well, that doesn't really track, honestly, and we'll get into that in the future. And now she squats in Mambo Number Loa's convenience store.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Fergie on there. Let's go. We got General Buzz Grunt. Now we know why Tank is like that. High-ranking military leader overseeing operations at Division 47 on the outskirts of Strangetown. A drill sergeant through and through, even to his son's Tank and Rip.
Even though Tank has been in Strangetown a lot longer than... Unless he was just... I guess he
Probably,
was in the
I
Division.
think he was like from behind the scenes.
Yeah, he was in
like,
the Division, whereas Dorienye Plus never went to. And then Bang also.
Bang never did it. Yeah,
Do you think that Division 47 came after Bang?
I
Do
think
you
so,
think
and that
that
we'll get into a
crashed?
theory. We'll get into a theory about that later because it's the same UFO.
Okay.
I know exactly what you're thinking about. Has had an odd fascination with aliens, sparking a family feud with the Smiths. No inside voice.
Survey says!
Isaac Rossum, the billion-dollar idea inventor, a genius with machinery, even making a fully sentient humanoid robot to be his wife. Face seen in multiple houses in the Sims 2 console, implying him to be well known, is an in-universe stand-in for Will Wright, the creator of the Sims games. This is what he actually looks like. So it's like not that far off, honestly.
I mean, that's probably
When he
him
had a
now.
mustache, that's what he probably looked like.
That's also him like 20 years later.
Yeah. You can still kind of see
yeah.
it.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Despite his oddities, he seems to be ultimately good in nature and was even proud of his wife for defying her programming and becoming more independent. He was like, yeah, let's go. Seems to have history with Dr. Nulo. Speaking of robotic wife, we have Roberta Rossum. She's barely in the game, but she's like so important. Because like
Yeah.
she like dies early on and we gotta
Right.
like piece her back together. There's her robot brain. Excessively happy, friendly, and loving due to her programming. Smart enough to want to circumvent her own commands to become more independent. Bathes in motor oil. Her robotic brain is as powerful as a supercomputer and is used by Dr. Dominion to control his brainwave amplifier.
Yeah. She was briefly separated into multiple pieces.
Yes, we had to pick up all her chunks. So we got Bitch 1 and Bitch 2, Loki and Circe Beaker. The scientist that carries out human experimentation in his basement, even having killed a test subject out of negligence in the past, hoarding patents from his wife and not crediting her. I'll pay you an exposure. Complicit in kidnapping a garbage man for further human testing, and she is having an affair with Dr. Nulo that her husband barely even cares about. He's like, fucking woman, stop. I will keep these patents. We got our boy Dr. Dominic Nulo, the wannabe Sims streamer, as a cartoonishly villainous persona known as Dr. Dominion, which he assumes to carry out his final plans. Restarted a cult around once-forgotten god Beelzebub under the different pseudonym El Toro, has perfected a technology over years that allows him to take full control over a plumb bob that used to control him, and now he uses it to play God, and is the single best written character in the franchise, I think. What do you think? Out of every character, I think he's the best one. He's like so involved. He has like good lines
He's up
all
there.
the time.
He's up there for sure. I can't immediately think of a better one, but
Theory number 1, the current state of the shadow government. When we had last left off in Sims 2 console, the SG had taken full control of the neighborhood of Pleasantview, replacing all of its citizens with easily controllable husks known as clay Sims, and using their own synthetic plumb bobs harvested from an asteroid to directly puppet their lives. The Streeties, their main opposition, has had many of their members picked off one by one, with the most damaging recent losses of Darius and Purple forcing them into hiding.
The fucking kidnapping of Darius.
Yeah, that was like so good. I loved that. The game served that to me on a silver platter. The Sims of Paradise Place and Strangetown, for the most part, seem to have been part of the SG, consider their murky backstories, huge technical skill, and massive wealth. Not to mention the fact that it was the home of the Goth family, extremely prominent members of the organization.
Paradise Place is your house, right?
Yeah, Paradise Place is like the, that like cul-de-sac.
Oh, that
where
whole
your house
area.
is.
Okay,
Yeah, so that whole area. All this being said, however, it appears that something is very different this time with the SG. Allow me to walk you through and bridge the gap between Sims 2 console and PSP. We got the techno music on. Bella's appearance in this entry is perhaps the most suspect and seems out of place. She has lost absolutely everything and is now regarded as nothing more than a lunatic, with none of her family around her at all. Given that we know Dr. Nulo regularly used his plumb bob to force citizens of Strangetown to do things unbecoming of them for his amusement or to further his own goals, I believe it is clear that Bella was also a regular target of his. Nulo seems to have possibly the greatest amount of power in the entire Shadow government, having assumed control over a genuine plumb bob on his own and basically being able to control anyone at all remotely. Given that he clearly was in no leading position in the Shadow government before, I suspect he has abused his powers to ruin each and every one of his peers into compliance so that he could rise to the top. Of note is Bella's current location, Mambo Loa's shop, where a cure for vampirism can be researched, as well as garlic seeds bought. Perhaps the doctor, one by one, forced the Goths to cure themselves of their vampirism, thus making them mortal. Bella may well be the last remaining of the once powerful and influential family. The Clay Sims were possibly a combined effort to create in the first place. A collaboration between Isaac Rossum and the Beakers seems to be likely, and could possibly be a result of the Beakers' human experimentation. While I believe Dr. Nulo also contributed to the creation of the Clay Sims, I also think that he kept his personal plumb bob a secret until he was sure he could take complete control of the entire Shadow government. I think it's safe to presume that any known members of the Shadow government that are not in Strangetown currently are either dead or kicked out of the group, much like what happened to Malcolm Landgraf. Like, Daddy Big Boss must be like he was old way back then.
That's true.
He's like gotta be dead.
Unless with all of his money, cash money. Yeah.
What
if he did something to transfer his consciousness into either another sim, a robot,
it just doesn't
Clay Sim?
It just doesn't track with
there's no evidence for it.
Yeah. But we'll keep it in mind
Yeah.
with it, because he's like been the main villain
Yeah.
of the series. So all these guys are either kicked out or dead. With Nulo in charge and possessing a power far greater and far beyond what even the Clay Sims were capable of, there was no further use for them. So I believe they were discarded/deactivated in mass quantities. Paradise Place is said in-game to be built atop a graveyard, and countless zombies roam all throughout Strangetown. All decommissioned Clay Sims, grasping in vain to the last strings of their lives. What are we looking at?
She said, interesting at Shadow versus Void. Great Nulo theory. His name is Daddy, who's his child.
Oh.
And what if he's Nulo?
Well, his child is Luther.
Right, yeah.
Luther Big Bucks.
Luther
He's
Big
easy to
Bucks.
forget about because he doesn't really play a major role. He's just kind of chill.
Yeah.
For some reason, like, they were like, yeah, the main villain of the series is going to have a son, and he's going to be like, all right. Notably, Nulo still keeps Farah Moonbiscuit, a Clay Sim, around to house sit for him. Her artificial plumb bob is missing from her forehead. Hello, Haley. The Shadow government had known for a long time that the Larkins were a risk, due to their association with plumb bobs of their own. If they wanted to play God, they would need to get them out of the way. Dr. Nulo, of course, was aware of this, hence why his ultimate plan was to create the brainwave amplifier to strike back directly at the source of the problem, the controller of the Larkins plumb bobs. So his goals are directly in line with the Shadow government's goals before, so it all kind of fits. To make the brainwave amplifier even possible, Nulo needed 3 important components: an immensely powerful computer to control the system, an immensely potent substance to fuel it, and an immensely talented mechanic to build it. And lastly, for one of the Larkins to arrive at his doorstep so he could finally seize absolute control of the most major thorn in his side. Us. Enter the Larkin of the hour. Ba 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 ba. Steromoya Larkins, serious and skilled. No nonsense and to the point with her interactions, always in pursuit of what she thinks is the right way of things. Proud lover to a 19th century maid ghost. Aware of her existence inside of her game. On a road trip to places unknown at the beginning of the game before being forced to crash in Strangedown by a plumbob.
I wonder where she was going.
I do wonder as well. Oh, the Keel Hall and Cards music is playing.
I thought you were saying she was going to play Keel Hall and Cards.
Yeah, that's exactly why she was there. Maybe.
Do you think she's one of those like Airbnb dickheads or like
that owns multiple properties and leases them all?
Yeah.
Who was Steromoya Larkins? Before Sims 2 PSP, there were 3 remaining Larkins still alive: Litchi, Bang, and Popaya. With Mom and Hayseed now known to be deceased and then having no other known children, it begs the question, who even is Steromoya? And for her to be like as old as she is, it would need to be set like 20 to 30 years in the future for like one of these guys to have a kid, you know? And like Tank is pretty much the same age, just like a little bit older. So it's like that can't work. She is notably odd in appearance, having green skin like an alien, but without their signature eyes. Yeah. Plus, there appears to be void contained within her, seeping out of her left eye and lips. When looking at her bare arms, they appear to have been stitched together. Undoubtedly, though, she is a Larkins family member, given her opposition to the Shadow Government and controlled by one of our plumbobs. Where did she come from? Well, perhaps a line from the end of the game sheds light on things. This line, "You are now a money sim," at the very end of the game, following Dr. Dominion's demise, results from Steromoya touching the Doctor's plumbob controlling helmet, which is presumably the only remaining remnant of the original plumbob that had controlled him. The wording implies that Steromoya was not a money sim until this moment. Given her aspiration and even the $sign in her name, it appears that this is what her main goal in life was. Money in the Sims games is near synonymous with power. The main goal of any Sims player is to amass as much as possible and to live extravagantly. It seems this was also the goal of Nulo's plumbob controller as well, because he kept saying, like, they kept putting my skills up so that I could get more money! Thus, we can clearly make an association between the plumbob and money. Steromoya, therefore, seems to be the most Larkinish out of the whole family, and has fully succeeded in her goal, unlike the others. Her green skin, I theorize, is not due to her being an alien, but rather due to her body physically being made of money. That is, all the simoleons accumulated by all of the Larkin siblings over each game. How is it possible to be made out of money? Well, that can be explained by her being a clay sim, which is supported by Steromoya's odd contortions and stitched arm. Given Nulo's comments about her being chosen to be the protagonist, I think it is likely that our plumbob intended for her to basically be the ultimate Larkin, fit in every way possible to stop Nulo's machinations. And who was the vessel the plumbob chose to make its perfect protagonist? Well, ask yourself one question, my eggy friend. Who is a clay sim we know of that has white hair, glasses, a green face, and an association to the Larkins family?
Was she smearing money on her face that whole time?
It was the Mom Larkins clay sim the whole time!
Is that concentrated cash on her face?
Yes, it is. This Mom Larkins was a clay sim created to replace its original when she was killed by the Shadow Government. Despite this, it appears she had more compassion for her children than the original mom ever did, acting much nicer to Dorienye during his brief stay at the house and busting in. What's that? I can't stop bringing them home, okay? I'm gonna cut you with the box cutter, Jerry. She's also vehemently opposed to Malcolm, a former member of the SG, which is odd behavior for a clay sim since they were built by them to be mindless drones set on a routine. Perhaps her extended time being around Dorienye and the Larkins plumbob affected her mind, making her self-aware. The Plumbob then chose her to be the protagonist, the key to bringing down Dr. Nullo's plans. The seeds to this were already in play, with her skin beginning to turn green, presumably from absorbing kumquats simoleons after he died. Every single bit of cash every single bit of cash each Larkins earned was instrumental in making Charamonia as good as she is.
Oh my god, cash galore.
Yes. Since the 3 other living Larkins were such well-known targets, it's possible Charamonia was chosen as the wild card pick. One that would be harder to exploit, and one that would be able to protect her children from potentially losing to the Doctor. As it turns out, she was the most true mother out there, and perhaps the most fitting Larkin to bookend the saga.
So Charamonia is Clay Mom? Or
Yes, she is like, it's like, because Claymon was like just kind of a replacement, but now she's getting self-aware and like becoming her own person. So I thought that was like a perfect bookend. Like it starts with Mom, it ends with Mom.
Oh, shit.
All right, enough backstory. Time for a slew of character profiles. You read this one, you get a drink.
I have to remember the song. Okay. All right. A little bit of hot dog in your bun. One half scam artist, one half curator. Of all things bizarre, speaks in Marble number 5 is. Appears to know somewhat of what Charamonia is and what her goal in life is. Has canonically killed the man.
Bruce displeased the mambo. That's on a grave. We got Oscar del Fuego, a missing mechanic. Only smart when it comes to machinery, fucking dumb as hell on every other aspect. Kidnapped very early on and used for his skills by Dr. Dominion. Deputy Duncan, Sweet Home Alabama, canonically an incest child. Loves to eat garbage can donuts and kick the wheels of his car. That's like his only traits.
What made him canonically an incest child again?
He said that, like, my mama always said I had my uncle's hair or whatever. Emily Emery, many services included. A much more corporeal ghost than any we have seen thus far, for unknown reasons. Initially distant, but becomes Charamonia's closest ally and lover over time. Very caring for other ghosts and wants them to move on to the afterlife peacefully. Abandoned by the goths and thought of as nothing more than a maid who does what she's told. Got Hazel Dente, serial monogamist. Has had 4, working on 5 husbands over the last few years that have died mysterious deaths. Revealed to suffer from frequent blackouts, which Dr. Dominion took advantage of to have her husbands killed off one by one. Avid gardener, generally nice despite all that.
Yeah.
He's like fine.
Shame.
Yeah. Alright, now we're just gonna rapid fire through all these guys. We got Roland Colanzo, enterprising suitor of Hazel Dente that flees when told the truth. Also gullible enough to immediately then go and join the Kind Society. So he's not very bright. Dennis Phillips, dead Hazel husband, died in a pool after the ladder was removed, presumably by Nullo's Plumbob. The Grim Reaper, kind of wimpy in this game. Treats resurrection as even more of a commodity than in Sims 2 console, having curated payment packages.
He's monetizing
bronze package.
He's got the microtransactions.
Yeah. Nervous subject. Test subject for the Beakers, buried in an unmarked grave. No one knows his real name. Was a supportive and loving boyfriend to Annie Howell, with his death presumably causing her anger issues to flare up.
So that's not his real name?
That's not his real name,
okay.
No. The current state of dying in the Sims universe. Theory number 3. On-screen death and resurrection has only been a thing in the most recent 3 Sims games we have played. The progression from how it is treated one to the next has intrigued me. In Sims 2 DS, resurrection is free, but is only done if the Sim has really earned it. Like, it only happened once, and that's when Abeng was, like, unfairly teleported to the Void Dimension,
right.
And he was saved. And then in Sims 2 console, it costs a mere $100 to be revived, and that's it.
And then inflation happened.
And then inflation happened. There are payment
inflation.
Packages for being resurrected in an even better state than when you died, and everything is treated very business-like.
Yeah.
Cash money-like. Chat. This shift to death and undeath as a commodity is presumably happening due to the changeover of Beelzebub, aka the Prime Heifers, reign of the afterlife to Anubis during Sims 2 DS. With Anubis now in charge, the increase in supernatural events and new paranormal life forms has become very noticeable. Sims 2 PSP has the most paranormal-related subplots by a mile, indicating that these occurrences are becoming commonplace in the Sims world. The Grim Reapers have thus lost their edge, becoming more of a business due to command from Anubis. It is worth noting the prior mentioned link between power and money in this universe. Perhaps this is leading to something in the future. However, it seems Anubis' acceleration of the occult has played a hand in bringing back an old foe of his. Beelzebub, the prime heifer in the flesh. The now dethroned god of death, summoned into the world of the mortals by the kind society. Her milk and the milk of her sacred cow descendants is a very potent substance that can even be used as fuel. It is the primary ingredient of beverages produced by the Chug Chug Cola Company. Mysteriously disappears during the final battle after being freed from Nulo's device, and her future intentions are unclear. There was a big old statue of her out in the desert, which is the thumbnail.
She just vanished, right?
Yeah, she vanished. And no one talked about it. It was just like, oh, she's gone. Sinjin Balani can't move on from past years past. Second in command of the Kind Society under El Toro, wishes to bring about the Great Stampede to recreate the world anew, not unlike the story of Noah's Ark, but with cows instead of water. Feels betrayed after Nulo reveals himself as El Toro and abducts Beelzebub to utilize in his own schemes and starts actively work against him. Aspires to start a new cult on the bones of the Kind Society. He's like, excuse me, I am good at running cults, I'm gonna keep doing it. Alright, you can bash through these guys.
Hoot hell, he serves like beer, yes. Also, Annie is his sister somehow, even though he looks 16 and she looks 19.
That was weird, right? Annie, the Night Beast?
Yeah.
That's his sister.
Well, she's probably other relations to him as well. Like a niece, cousin. Rick Wong. I don't remember how he sounded at all.
Yeah, because he was on screen for like probably 10 minutes total.
His only job was to gatekeep, and he failed even at that.
He's not even a girl boss.
Yeah. Sarah Starr, constantly angry and wants to fuck El Toro like a lot. Fertilizes the field at the club on weekends. There's Ophelia Spector, rightful owner of the Dead Tree Meeting House, may be related to Billy Spector. Yeah, that's true.
Anyhow, a repugnant lady.
Yeah.
We tased this poor girl like 15 times.
We chased her the wrong way.
Yeah, the wrong way 14 times, then the right way one time. Has latent anger issues stemming from her presuming that her boyfriend ghosted her, when in reality he was kidnapped and killed. Transforms into a werepug when angry. You can see the issue there. And do not ask for a sensual massage.
That's just like a blanket statement.
Yeah, just don't. Lincoln Broadsheet, now with real floating action. Newspaper journalist from Herbs GBA, now with the hots for a vampire for some reason, now able to float about instead of being confined to a wheelchair, and that's just because they wanted to reuse the ghost animations and they didn't want to program in wheelchair animations for him, so they had to put that in. Virginia Fang, motorboating queen 1892, let's give it up for her. Thirsty ass vampire, doesn't really intend to be evil and actually wants to be cured.
Yeah. Now an ex-vampire.
Gamey Bronco, who deals in garbage, treated like garbage, kidnapped by the Beakers after a nervous subject's death to be experimented on, but is rescued. Does not do a very good job picking up trash. It's all over the place. Peta Florica, a Peta, drinking the family vodka. Cousin of Gimme, runs a shrewd family business and is fond of negotiating. Drops a petty feud with Ophelia after drinking vodka.
I don't blame him for not picking up the trash in his prison.
Yeah, well, no, he's just bad at his job, so. Yeah. All right, we got to bang out these guys. Pierre Peacock, Ava Cadavra, the cultist, shows up again, coincidentally alongside the heifer, though she never interacts with the Kind Society on screen. And it takes a long time for the game to load her in.
She's priming up the heifer.
Farrah Moonbiscuit house sits for Dr. Nulo. No mas plumbob. Hector Fromagera, forgot he even showed up, to be honest. Hector. Berkeley Claude, once a snake oil salesman, now a square dancer. Phoebe Twiddle, poor Phoebe, never gets to do anything in these dang streams. You can't, but you gotta come to Twit. You gotta break it down. Was a kind disciple for like a weekend, and then he stopped. Nora Zealot, member of the Kind Society. Funny that she has Zealot in her name. This is the image I was talking about. She totally fucked this goddamn plant. She fucked this plant, right?
Yeah.
These are lovers.
Yeah.
She fucked this plant.
Wait, is other Duke coming up? Or
no,
Duke Skullbash?
I didn't put him in there.
Put Duke Skullbash in?
No, I didn't.
That was insane.
Duke Skullbash. It's like, is that Duke Skullbash? No. Dudley Landgrab, awfully popular amongst the military folk. Everyone was chatting with him all the time. I found it funny that the only time Toots Sweet was on screen, her butt was towards the camera, which was really funny. Penelope Red, working for Division 47, which is fitting for her. We'll watch TV even if it ain't on. Jimmy Two Shoes stopped the whole game to load in once, and he didn't appear ever again after that.
Had to load both my shoes.
We gotta load both of them. Who among us hasn't been vampire horny before? True.
Fair.
Oh yeah, if I forgot. On this, it had like an animation at the very start where it goes Polynesian Technician number 9, and then it goes off screen and then it comes back with Mr. Smith. So if you didn't see that, that's how you know. Jacob will have to run that back. But one of the first. A now elderly alien who was a pollination tech, tasked with impregnating human men with alien babies. Had an alien family back on his home planet who he had to leave for this mission and misses them dearly. Has settled down on Earth with a human wife and hybrid son, Jenny and Johnny. Observed closely by Division 47 on the orders of Buzz Grunt. Speaking of those guys, there's Jenny and Johnny. Believes something is shady about Division 47 and conspires alongside Sharamoya to flee the encampment. He succeeds and is not heard from again. Apparently a victim of alien racism.
Yes.
Jenny Smith can't stop pissing, can't stop showering. Mr. Smith's human wife, he took her name, a bit ditzy and kind of just doesn't give a shit about showering in front of others.
No.
This is her pictured by the shower in her home. Tank Grunt still has a stick firmly up his ass.
Yeah.
A more serious take on the once comedic side character, now actively involved in his father's odd schemes and a bully to his brother. So he's like a villain now, basically. Still a fucking dumbass who doesn't know how to fix his computer. Rip Grunt, more like rip a fat fart. His only function is to get absolutely bodied by Tank, dude.
Yeah.
Laszlo Curious, finally someone who is an alien racist.
Yeah.
Slacker scientist at Division 47 who nets Sharamoya a job. Cool dude and actually met besties with Mr. Smith. Pascal Curious, Seahorse. Proud father of an alien child, Taicho, who was conceived during an abduction. The three curious scientists seem to not be blood related and all just so happen to share that last name. Curious. We got Vitkon the Curious. Why did he do that to his hair? Like, no one thinks that looks good. Flawed, self-centered, but ultimately not evil scientist who wants to achieve greatness but has not the funds to do so. Reluctantly worked alongside the Doge in Black. The Doge in Black. The absolute whitest of white guys.
Yeah.
Look at these motherfuckers. Conspired to kidnap Taicho Curious and hide him in a secret bunker underneath Division 47 for unknown reasons. Never seen speaking on screen, they just go, lady. They just go, my lady. Theory number 4, the extraterrestrial files. Let's really get down to the nitty-gritty and go over everything we know about aliens in the Sims universe. The main goal of the aliens in the series seems to be conquering the Earth via pollination of its citizens, increasing the alien population there until it becomes the majority. Emperor Zizzle seems to be the leader of this operation, as well as a pollination tech himself. The aliens uniquely seem to be able to impregnate Sim males and females.
Oh, yeah.
Utilizing a disguise device, some aliens are able to pass as humans, though it is very rare for them to be able to mimic Simlish correctly. Burple is pretty unique in that regard, like he's actually able to speak fluent English, and so is Johnny, but that's because he's like a hybrid, I think. So like Johnny's able to speak perfect Simlish because he learned from his mom, but Burple is like a complete anomaly in that regard.
Yeah.
Because like Mr. Smith, Emperor Zizzle, they all, and Popea to an extent, all like have weird speech patterns.
I think Burple was so like intrigued by like
he wanted to fuck so
exactly,
much that he learned the language.
Yeah.
All aliens seem to consistently have green skin and entirely black eyes, even hybrids, with the exception of Johnny's first appearance, which I believe to have been an error because he has the correct eyes in this game. And there's no evidence of like alien hybrids having like regular Sim eyes, because even Taicho has the black eyes and he's like the son of Pascal.
Right.
Aliens seem to be consistently discriminated against in Sim society, perhaps not without reason, though even peaceful aliens like Johnny and Mr. Smith are subject to racism. It's like 9/11.
Right.
Division 911 is home to a very high concentration of alien characters, and this seems to be the fault of General Buzz, who is observing them and controlling... Where did I bring that out of? And trying to contact other aliens using what appears to be a variant of the motherboard, which, as Simon says. The whole division seems to have been built around the same desert area from Sims 2 DS, with a long-since-crashed UFO and mummified alien bodies buried in the sand. Look at these fucking UFOs. They're like the exact same thing. Yeah. It's like such a specific symbol to have on both of them. Yeah. There are the mysterious dudes in Doge and Black who keeps watch over the lab's secret sublevel and are somehow allowed to be there to continue carrying out their suspicious missions, even kidnapping alien children.
The one on the left is definitely saying Doge.
Doge. Yeah, he's currently Doge. There is no way someone as uptight and strict as Buzz would not notice the dudes in black sneaking about, so it seems very likely that he is allowing their schemes to happen on purpose. Perhaps they are all in allegiance together, and given Buzz's ties to the Shadow Government, the whole operation seems very sinister. Once Division 47's operations become clear to be a Shadow Government ploy, it is easy to see the connections between aliens, outer space, and the Plumbobs, as to why the SG has such an interest in studying them. In fact, the unexplained Plumbob asteroid that was destroyed in Sims 2 GBA, resulting in the SG's acquisition of synthetic Plumbobs that would allow them to take over Pleasant View, came from an unknown location in the far reaches of space. Also, the ideal color for a money sim, something highly valued by the Plumbobs, is green. Perhaps the DIB are kidnapping alien children in order to experiment on them in regards to developing a connection with the Plumbob, much like how the Beakers experimented on other Sims. In fact, it is likely that the Beakers had the DIB kidnap nervous subject in Gimme Bronco as well, because they don't seem that capable of like doing it physically. So they're like, let's get the Doge. Most skill-building objects in the Sims games thus far have been alien technology as well, indicating a link between well-rounded Sim traits and extraterrestrials. This is one of the few plot points that have been left really open-ended for now, so we may never get any more definitive proof. But for now, these are the connections and reasonings I could gather based on the dialogue that was available. I will move right on to theory number 5. This is a huge one. This one like fucking blew my mind when I realized what happened. Master of Machines. I couldn't help but notice the odd amount of importance given to what should, in theory, have been a throwaway character, Oscar Del Fuego. He's apparently the creator of Dr. Dominion's Brainwave Amplifier, an insanely mechanically marvelous device, and is hailed as a brilliant car mechanic by the townsfolk. His skills with machines are undeniable. This dialogue, maybe, I don't know, figure out this machine, and it'll take over the world. Plumbobs in this theory are like Phazon. Yeah, I agree. This dialogue is kind of tucked away in the epilogue of the game, seemingly foreshadowing a villainous arc for Oscar. A masterful mechanic with ominous importance. Sounds familiar, right? Like Sheriff Dandyman, possibly? In fact, now it makes sense as to why Dan was collecting license plates. He was trying to track down Strangetown's greatest mechanic, perhaps for a collaboration. Let's rewind for a moment, back to the ending of Sims 2 DS. After defeating an out-of-control Optimum Alfred, Dandyman's greatest creation, the ending cutscene curiously shows Bang's inoperable car smoking and a mysterious figure standing beside it. After the ending and epilogue, going to the location where Bang's car should be, it's completely gone. Normally it's there on the map, but now it's gone. Mm-hmm. Also during the epilogue, the automatons are shown to be kept in jail by Dandyman, so they all, aside from Alfred, are in his possession. It seems that during the final climactic battle of DS, Dan was having plans of his own come to fruition, as he had finally linked up with Oscar, who was able to fix Bang's car. With the servos in tow and his experiments complete, the sheriff skipped town in the now repaired car alongside Oscar. So that's Oscar standing there. He had just finished repairing the car. This appears to be setting up a new villainous collaboration for the following story, one that we'll probably never get, but it's still fun to speculate. Like, if the makers of these games made another one, I would actually expect Oscar to be, involved somehow in it. And speaking of that, what's next for the saga? Final theory. Sadly, we have reached an end for the original run of Sims console games, as after this point, the developers of the beloved handheld story focus entries have stopped making these games. What follows this is a series of games all based on Sims 2 Pets, which seems to have removed any semblance of a story mode whatsoever, except in the GBA one, except for one. We made the decision to finish the Larkin storyline here, as it is a nice conclusion to their tale that wraps everything up nicely. Look at all these fuckers together. It's a good gaggle. As for the Pets arc of the series, we're gonna pick it back up in March, starting a new family. The Nulos! Because this whole thing happened at the end where they were like, I don't know if he died or not. So he's gotten transported into the universe of The Sims 2 Pets, which might be the same continuity, I don't know. But, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. That's our next thing, is we're gonna start with Dr. Nulo. That's gonna be our first
starting
Sims.
with the GBA one?
I think I want to save it for last if it's like the
Okay.
only story-focused one.
Yeah. The only
I think I want to start with Sims 2 Pets console, because that's like the one that all the other ones will be basing themselves on. So we'll start with the console, then we'll probably go like PSP, DS, Apartment Pets DS, and then GBA. I think that's the order we'll go in. We'll like go in increasing levels of technical fidelity downwards.
And probably
The Virtual Boy.
The games will probably still get better as we
Yes,
go.
somehow, yeah. All right, that's it. So, any thoughts on this series?
No.
I have no thoughts.
It's kind of crazy that Sharamoya turned out to be Clay Mom.
Yeah, I thought that was a really fitting thing, because I was like, I want to make sure Moya an even more important character. So I was like racking my brain. It's like, she has to be a Clayso. We have a lot of Claysos at our disposal, but then I was like, oh my god, she had the green on her face.
Right.
So she was already putting cash money into her.
She was applying it to her skin. Oh shit. Isekai into petting animals.
Yeah. In fact, I kind of hope that it all works out so that it'll be a prequel to Sims 2 PSP, so that Dr. Nulo is in like a time loop. Like he wakes up in Sims 2 Pets, becomes a doctor, notices the plumb bob above him, and goes insane, and then it starts the events of this game, and then it keeps time looping him for eternity. That's what I want to happen. Shit. But yeah, that's it for Slide Seppis for now. Like I said, we're going to start this back up again in March. Cash money exposure. Hell yeah. We're going to start this back up again in March, but until then, we're going to be playing shitpost games.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
So join us in about like 10 to 20 minutes for Madig Ass Car. And we'll see you guys then.
Salute to the Larkinses.
Oh, ending song. Wait. Drop it. Ah, bang. There we go, ending song.
We'll catch you next time.
Cash me outside, how much net?